song, Holy, Holy Way. Here we go. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me know that love is all around.
Let me know that love is all around.
Oh, let me know that love is all around.
Let me know that love is all around.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me know that love can heal us all.
Let me know that love can heal us all.
Oh, let me know that love can heal us all.
Let me know that love can heal us all.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me care for those around the world.
Let me care for those around the world.
Oh, let me care for those around the world.
Let me care for those around the world.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
I feel like we should clap for that. And for all of you for being here. Thank you. Welcome to Unity Center of Spiritual Growth. I am Reverend Amber Boren, and it is a blessing to be here, to be alive and awake on this rainy Sunday morning. So thank you. Also, thank you to those watching online. If you guys don't mind, let's give all of our online viewers a little wave as well, because they are a part of our community here in spirit and in energy. At Unity, we're a place that believes in living love and uplifting lives. And one of the ways that we do that is with our acts of service, our holy, holy service. Yesterday, we had our volunteer brunch where we invited a number of our volunteers to celebrate them and their acts of service and the giving of their time, effort, and energy, because unity doesn't happen without all of you contributing to make it happen. We're all on the same team together, so thank you for being a part of our team. And before I invite Geraldine up to light our candle, I'm going to ask again for some service. One is we have parking lot islands out in our parking lot. We have a number of people who volunteered to de-weed an island. Each island is numbered with a stone, 1 through 12, and we still have a couple islands in need of a caretaker. So if you're willing to spend a little bit of time weeding the garden, weeding our parking lot garden, we would appreciate that. So I'm going to pass that around. And then also on Saturday, June 7th, is the Coeur d'Alene Pride in the Park. And Pride is a time where unity of our community can come together to really shine, to support parts of and people in our community that sometimes might feel a little left out, might feel judged. And here at Unity, we want to welcome everybody, whether we're in church or whether we're in the grocery store or in the park. So if you are willing to give a little bit of your time to sign up to help man our booth at Pride in the Park, we would also greatly appreciate that as well. So I'm going to pass those around. And now I'm going to invite Geraldine up to light our Christ candle. Thank you, Geraldine. Let's take a moment. We have 2 candles today. Let's take a moment just to settle in. Let's look at the flame. And let's take the light of that candle, the warmth of that candle, and let's take that inside for a prayer. Let's feel that light in our heart space. And let's breathe. And just relax. Bring all of our attention and our awareness into the here and now. And as we breathe, I want you to imagine that candlelight burning brightly in your heart, and feel that warmth spread out through your entire body. Just allow it to soften you. Allow yourself to let go and open up so you can receive from the universe, from the divine source that lives within us and outside of us and all around us. Divine source that wraps us in love, in compassion, and in unity. For the light and source in me is the same light and source in you and in all of those that we meet. And we ask that we see this light reflected in all that we meet, so that we can move through our day in connection with our spirit, in every action, in every thought, and in every situation. We bring divine grace, our divine patience, and our divine love. And so it is, God. Thank you. Amen. So this week, I got a phone call on Thursday afternoon from Reverend James Kresh, and he expressed interest in applying for our ministerial position here. Woo! We're calling him in. And I was so excited to have this really fun conversation with him. And I just thought, oh, he gets it. He is part of Unity, even though he's never set foot inside this building. And so I've invited James to choose a reading and to come up and share it with you. And so if you'll all help me welcoming James Kresh here today.
Thank you, Amber, and it is a joy to be here today. It is very Seattle-like here. I come from Seattle to escape the rain, and it's just so funny to see. But yeah, just being here this morning and really feeling the presence of love that is here. And one of my favorite quotes is from Ernest Holmes, who says, "Love is an intelligence that seeks expression." And love is always expressing itself through us, in us, as us. And there's a spectrum of that expression, from joy and pleasure and delight and deep sorrow and pain. And so what I wanted to share was a few words from the poet David White. He's one of my favorites because I just really appreciate the raw, unfiltered honesty that he writes. And I find comfort in that, knowing that my experience is not alone. And so as I read this morning, I hope this brings some comfort to you wherever you are today, as he writes about love. He says, "Love is merciless because in its raw elemental form, it is non-negotiable. It does not ask for reciprocation or for our affections to be requited. Love just wants to take the path to a deeper and greater love and will burn away in its fire any who will not follow its uncompromising way. Love, we are afraid to discover, just wants us to love. Love asks us to be courageous as it travels through all its differing and sometimes heartbreakingly unrecognizable seasons, to take away from things that we once loved, but that now to our heartbreak imprison us, to take time to understand a newly shaped form of our affections, or to learn anew how to keep our affections alive. Love asks for radical reimagination, to see when love must offer deep friendship rather than romance, or bravely to bring a relationship in its present form to a different form, to grant both sides new freedom, to learn the difficult art of bringing things to a loving and affectionate end, to learn the art of generous endings so as not to carry unharbored resentments, and then find a way to love again, even through separation. The fire of love, fully felt, is the daily experience of living in a world that is better than anything we could have imagined in our previous longings. Love is the ultimate arrival that makes every previous longing and every previous absence of love, even all the damage we caused along the way, merciful, understandable, and even necessary. Thank you.
You knew that you would die today, and you saw the face of God in love. Would you change? Would you change? If you knew that love could break your heart when you're down so low you cannot fall, would you change? Would you change? How bad, how good does it need to get? How many losses, how much regret? What chain reaction would cause an effect? Makes you turn around, makes you try to explain, makes you forgive and forget. makes you change, makes you change. If you knew that you would be alone, knowing right but being wrong, would you change? Would you change? If you knew that you would find a truth that brings a pain that can't be soothed, would you change? Would you change? How bad, how good does it need to get? How many losses, how much regret? What chain reaction would cause an effect? Makes you turn around, makes you try to explain, makes you forgive and forget, makes you change. Comes to blows, are you so sure you won't be crawling? If not for the good, why risk falling? Why risk falling? If everything you think you know makes your life unbearable, would you change? Would you change? Hard times come to bring you down. Would you change? Would you change? If you knew that you would die today, if you saw the face of God and love, would you change? Would you change? Would you change? Would you change if you saw the face of God and love?
Hello, I have the honor of announcing our fabulous guest speaker, the one, the only, Judith Pinkerton, who is not just an amazing musician, but she also is a music therapist. She was actually the first to receive a musical therapy license in the USA, and she has treated clients from cradle to grave, including more than 11,000 patients in residential addiction treatment centers. Her passion for life includes music therapy, which was ignited in Alaska when her solo violin music replaced medication post-surgery in the hospital. Let's see, I skipped around in this because I wanted to rearrange some stuff. So as a music therapist, Judith has developed the Music for Life wellness system through her positions of clinician, internship director, author, TEDx speaker, and recording artist. So not only does she come with all of those accolades, but she is also an amazing human who I've had the pleasure of getting to know over the past several years. Dare I say she's a bit of a genius as well. She identified the gap between one of the most misused tools in our culture and the prominent pain and suffering that so many people deal with. And she has found a way to bring music into that space and to bridge the gap so that people can heal and learn to feel. And in doing so, not only has she changed tens of thousands of lives, she is also going to be able to teach us how to allow our time, talents, and treasure and transform how we move through life. So thanks in advance, Judith. Can't wait to hear from you.
Thanks, Tracy. Fond memories of being together. And thank you, Anna and Paul, for change, because we know that change is the only constant in our life. That's how we deal with it. That makes life easy or not. So, 10 years ago this month, I decided to undergo radiation treatment for breast cancer. And what was interesting to me about this whole journey through that was the overwhelming support that would come in unsolicited or solicited, and the emotions that come along with discovering that, ooh, you've got it. So this talk today about what are the 3 T's of transformation are exampled in a lot of personal conditions that I've been able to thrive through. And this journey through cancer, from the day I was told that I had it to the day I was told that I did not have it, was 30 days. And I did not stop business. I traveled during those 30 days. It was an amazing journey, but I did agree to do radiation and to do an anti-hormonal therapy pill for a couple years and so on. So 10 years ago, I continue to be in remission, and I'm so grateful for that. So when you gather your support team around you, it's important to listen to words that have meaning for you. So I remember a couple different situations where the words were so meaningful to me that came through that person from God. My husband does not remember saying this to me, but I remember it. So when I had to call him and say, I just got the phone call, he said, oh, well, you're choosing to do this so that you understand what others go through. And I went, yes, I'm going to hang my hat on that one. That's what I'm choosing to do. So it's interesting how then you develop these teams, close to you to support you moving through change that happens constantly. So today we're going to journey through what does time, talent, and treasure have to do with transformation. So as we know, as we go through life, that these 3 terms kind of merge together, almost like, I don't know, what's the difference between them? So I'm going to try and focus on each one separately and together. And one way that I want to introduce how we learn to thrive is from our home setting. And so I know it's going to be a little personal here. My mother and father are online watching this, so I'm going to say hi. Age 93 and 94, so blessed that they're still here and couldn't make it today. They're a little bit south of Coeur d'Alene right now on a ranch. I want to share with you what they taught me. So I am a past resident of Alaska of 25 years, so I grew up in Alaska in a time when Alaska was really the last frontier. And you'll see 3 distinct pictures up there. All of them have stories behind them. So the one picture, this one, is my airplane. And yes, that's me, a long time ago. And I have my hand on a prop. And the prop is important in that picture because there was a time when I was flying with my instructor that he made a bad choice. And the result was the prop became dead in the air, 900 feet above the ground. And so it was an interesting journey, a quick journey through all of that, and I'm here to talk about it. The plane did not crash. People thought they were coming to a crash site in outside of Anchorage, actually, near Eagle River. And that's a whole nother story about how to thrive through that, allow yourself to feel intense emotion as you're going through it, and then what do you do with the aftermath of that? So that was a demonstration for myself about how to shift through all of that. And even though my dad wanted to kill my instructor because of the choice that he made, I consented to continue on with him and learned that I was his very first student to get a pilot's license. Oh my goodness. So there's a lot of stories about airplane incidences in my book there. So one of the things that I learned from my parents was how to navigate airplane mishaps. So you'll see another picture up there of my dad, one of my dad's airplanes that had a problem. And I want to share with you the conversation that he had with me to alert me about the problem. So he and my mother had left to just go on a jaunt through the wilderness in the Chugach Mountains. And we had gotten a call from a ham radio operator saying, "Your father is going to be calling you from Glen Allen. Be waiting for his call." I'm like, okay. So I get the call. I'm like, "Hey, so what's up?" He goes, "Well, you know, we're here and we're alive." And I'm like, "Okay, cool, great. So what's going on?" He goes, "Well, you know, we had to use our sleeping bag to put the fire out." I'm like, "What fire?" He goes, "Well, the engine got kind of hot when we landed. And so it was good that we had a stream nearby to be able to get water to help deal with all that." And I'm like, "Nearby? You didn't land on the water with a float plane?" "No, we kind of missed it." Oh my goodness. So, you know, so it's ramping up about what the heck happened? So Glen Allen is a 3-hour drive from Anchorage. I had to drive up there to get them. The plane was way out in the wilderness. And we had to bring a helicopter in to dismantle the airplane. So the airplane, it's very strange to see a helicopter flying off with the wings. And then coming back to get the airplane, which is now flying through the air without wings, and loading it all on top of a huge long bed truck. And the problem that we had also was that my dad was always thrifty, so he grew up during Depression, right? So we got a helicopter that maybe wasn't as big as it should have been. So as we're flying along with these wings in the bottom of the helicopter, we're on stall speed the whole time. And now it's raining, and now it's getting dark because we're not flying as fast as we thought we were going to make it back. So my mom's with this big loading truck on Glen Allen Highway where there are no lights. You're in the middle of the wilderness. And so she turns on the truck headlights so that we can at least see them, so we can deposit the plane. So the plane's already on the truck. Now we're putting the wings on the plane in dark. So this is the kind of situation that I was constantly graced with in Alaska, and how you have to have some sort of sense of humor that goes along with, what do we do next? How are we going to get out of this one? And so we had another journey. We went to Prinickie's cabin, which is out in the wilderness near Lake Clark. And my dad decided that he did not want to go home the same way that we came in, that we flew in. So he thought, well, let's just go through Merrill Pass. Well, Merrill Pass, if anybody knows about Merrill Pass, the whole story really is in the book. So I'm going to shorten it down to say that we had to pass through what I call Death Valley very quickly, which has got airplane carcasses all over the place. And we're heading for this little tiny hole that is still closing in to be able to shoot through the clouds. And we made it, obviously. So my dad was an excellent bush pilot. in Alaska with thousands of hours of flying, and did commercial flying as well in Alaska. And so we have a lot of interesting stories about how we thrived no matter what came up with the airplane, because you can't just pull over the side of the road if something goes wrong, and there's not airstrips all over Alaska, so you have to learn how to maneuver in tundra or whatever. So with that, what I want to say is that thriving was something that I was taught from an early age, and it's just something that's been embedded in me from my parents. So thank you, Mom and Dad, because I've had lots of opportunity to be able to practice that. So as we look at what is this time plus treasure plus talent equals thrive, exactly what is that and how do you do it? And it's not like you do one and then the next, they all kind of merge together. So we're going to go on a journey today about looking at how do they merge together? How can you possibly smile? How can you cultivate spirit? How can you listen to that inner voice? How can you focus on what you want to grow? And then what you put out there is what you get back. So we're going to go through all of these in a different way, with starting with the smile method. So I created this on my own, thinking, I thought I liked doing what I was doing, going from retail management at JCPenney to starting my own talent agency and a music conservatory, nonprofit music conservatory, all this in Alaska, and I'm still not getting it. I'm missing it somewhere. I don't know what it is, but I'm missing it somewhere. So I thought, I'm just going to create this smile method. So this is what you can do if you're wanting to increase your treasure, your talent, your time with all of that. Do the smile method. So what puts a smile on your face? And just list it. It could be petting a puppy. It could be sitting next to a stream. Whatever it is, start writing it down. I'm actually doing this with my grandson, who is 14 now, and I'm texting him every day at 4 saying, okay, what put a smile on your face? And he's texting me back. So we're accumulating his list because, he's starting to get into the too much technology. So his dad, my son, was like, I want to put you guys together here. So we're working through this. I did this, and I listed about 100 things. And then in my organizational brain, I decided to categorize it. I came up with 4 things. And those 4 things I've been doing for decades now. So what happens when you can actually do this smile method is it triggers something internally. And all of these things about attracting what you put out there and really embedding yourself and meditating on it and all that, it works. It absolutely works. There's also a journal that did published a research study on the power of smiles. And it's called Mitigating Pain Through Facial Expression. And what they discovered is that smiling is a facial expression observed in their studies that surprisingly is often done during the experience of acute pain. And so they discovered through their research that spontaneously smiling during a painful task achieved lower heart rates and higher levels of positive effect during the recovery from pain. So literally it could be like, all right, I know I need to smile right now. How can I do that? And it's also that phrase of fake it till you make it, and I mean, sometimes that works, right? You just decide this is what you want to go for, and when you keep focusing on it, and it's coming from a deep urging, it's amazing how it can surface in interesting ways. So when you think about your talent has got to put a smile on your face, right? So think about what it is that you excel in. What do you like doing? And that will come up as you do this smile method. And then there's more detail as well with that in that book. So then looking at treasure. So what you focus on, you can grow more of. So do you know what the 7 F's are? So these are your entire wheel of life. So we've got faith, family, firm, finance, fitness, friends, and fun. So when you think about what you're focusing on with each one of those. So I have to tell you that the F for me, when I look at that and I think, oh, I'm supposed to be all of those things, doing all of them 100%, the other F word that I'm going to put in there is fraud. I'm a fraud because I'm not doing all of those 100%. It's fluid, right? And so you have to decide, where am I putting my attention? Where do I need to maybe refocus to maybe build this other F up more? So what you treasure in those 7 F's is also going to be revealing about who you are, what you are, how you do life. And I've got to do a call out right now. So with family, I would not be able to do what I do if it weren't for my husband, Dennis Burkhart. He is the stable one. He's the self-discipline. He is by the rule. He's all of that, and I'm all of this. And he watches me go a variety of places in just one day, in my head or externally as well. So thank you for being my rock, because he really has that stability factor for me, where I know that I'm going to get fine food. I know you've benefited from his chef culinary talent. And it's just, life is so much more full when you have those in your life that you can count on as family. I also want to highlight the finance part of it. We are dedicated to the art of tithing. And we've noticed that when we don't have angst about, oh no, I got to do 10% or whatever it is, that it's an amazing flow that occurs. So I wanted to point that out. And then I do want to do a shout out. So I've had some challenges this year which have exacerbated my focus on fitness. So if anybody wants to join me in a fitness challenge, I'm all up for it. I've got a Garmin watch, so I'm up for that. Check me on that. And then the fun part of it is our daughter, Kaylin. She doesn't hesitate to get me out of my element and let me know what's real and what we can do for fun. I'll tell you what, she is an awesome Uno gameplay. She knows how to do that, and she wins fair and square. I am just amazed at her ability. So with that treasure, look at those 7 F's. What is your treasure in those 7 F's? What do you rely on? What do you focus on? Yes?
What's the firm?
Oh, thanks for asking. That's business.
Okay.
Yeah, so I probably that's too high up in my list, because I now have 3 companies that support what I do for Music for Life. I just created a foundation, Music for Life Foundation. I have the original Music for Life Inc. Corporation that has my intellectual property, and then I have Music for Life Technology Inc., which it distributes everything that I do online. So yeah, so it's probably my husband would say too much focus on business, but that's what firm is business. Yeah. So what you focus on is what you're growing. So what are you focusing on? And do you need to pivot? So what does pivot mean? So pivot means being able to change strategic direction or core aspects. And what is that? So you may notice the red picture up here. This is the picture of the very first atom bomb that was detonated at Trinity Site in 1945 in New Mexico. 9 years later, I was born in Los Alamos, New Mexico, where the atom bomb was created, 200 miles from this detonation site. So we know about the half-life of plutonium and all those things that go into it. It was an amazing experiment that they did. This bomb was loaded with 13 pounds of weapon-grade plutonium when they only needed 3 pounds to have a fission reaction. And the heat that came from that explosion, that detonation, was 14,714 degrees Fahrenheit, 1.5 times hotter than the sun. The half-life of plutonium is 30 years. I was born 9 years within 200 miles of that detonation. So, was the cancer caused from that? I don't care. I'm not going to perseverate on that. That doesn't, we don't have a history of breast cancer in our family. I'm not going to focus on it. It does not make any difference to me. And I will say, I think that our society has gotten way too litigious with circumstances. And so I believe that when you can focus on what counts for you, that you need to grow so that you can be more focused on how you can serve, how you can be of help and support for our world at this time. So, pivoting, what kind of boat are you in that you want to steer with life? And so we're going to watch a video right now. Comes from the Next Level Soul podcast with Alex Ferrari. And he's interviewing John Davis. And it's we're just going to hear, like a minute of it. But he has an interesting perspective about the boat.
I like to think of time and the substance of the universe kind of like this. So imagine if I took a boat and I anchored in the middle of a river. That water is flowing down from above and is passing that boat. I'm standing in the middle of my boat. 100 feet in front of that boat, that water has no shape. It's just out there. When it comes to my boat, it splits off and creates the shape of my boat. Then after it passes my boat, it creates a wake and a swirl. Okay? The water is the time and the substance of the universe. The boat is the shape of my belief. The wake is my subconscious mind. The cool part is I get to choose what kind of boat. I get to choose the kind of boat that I have, right? And healing, can I believe?
Thank you, Brian, for that. So thinking about these words, and the whole podcast is really kind of interesting too, but I just wanted to focus on that snippet because the water represents time and substance of the universe. The boat, it's the shape of your belief. The wake of the boat is your subconscious mind. So what kind of boat are you choosing? Is it a canoe? Is it a yacht? Is it an ocean liner? What matches your depth and breadth to be able to pivot beyond negative conditions? What is the boat you are choosing that shapes your belief about how you do life? So my mother, from a very early age, taught us about how to turn lemons into lemonade. So it's about looking at the positive aspects of how you do life. And when something comes in as a lemon, sour, how do you shift that so that it has a sweeter ending? And then Tracy Chapman's words were interesting, water words. But this one specifically was referencing, are you so upright you cannot be bent? So if you are so uptight that you cannot fathom anything else beyond what this little world is all about, how can you shift beyond that? How can you create this flexibility in your emotions, in your mindset, in your physiology, and the way you behave? How can you shift and change that? And another clue is having that attitude of gratitude. That when you can shift your attitude into being grateful for whatever did come up that you don't particularly care for, that is going to happen. So case in point, 2019, I'd been on this fabulous wellness campus in Las Vegas for 7 years, working with 150 patients a week. So over that course of time, I documented, I don't know, like over 35,000 entries in medical records. And all of a sudden, a dear friend comes up to me after a corporate meeting in my office. They kicked me out of my office. Comes up to me and says, Judith, I'm so sorry to be the one to have to give you this news, but you're being evicted in 3 weeks. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, we're closing the campus down. Everybody's getting evicted. I'm like, wow. I am so sorry that you had to be the bearer of this news. So I immediately start feeling sorry for him instead of me. And my immediate response was, wow, there is something better happening here. COVID happened a year later, and the shift that I made gradually had me completely stored and working out of my home and already building another new website over that year, not knowing that we were going to be going into a different mode. Amen. What is the attitude of gratitude when something hits you in the face? Are you so, not bending at all that you can't see, because the door closed, you can't see the window that God opened? What is that like for you? So, looking at being in God, not just with God, because to me that seems a little bit of like a separation. It's not with God, it's in God. So this picture is one that my husband delivered to me. And I looked it up online. Oh my goodness, if he had bought the canvas, that's a 4 foot by 6 foot painting, he would have spent $20,000 on that picture. So it was a print. But I love Stephen Lavagi's work. And so this glimpse of glory is an interesting art that when you look at wanting to enliven what you do, choose the arts. Surround yourself with the arts to be able to feed spirit, to cultivate spirit, and to support meditation, listening to your inner voice. And when you do that, you may also find things bubble up for you about ways that you can seek to serve. What feels good for you? So I decided on my journey that I got called on to be involved with my Western region of the American Music Therapy Association. So I committed 10 years of my life serving through presidency and all of that, interacting on a national scene. And it was my privilege to be able to work with so many music therapists across the country in leadership positions, or looking at Unity Here. This fabulous brunch that we had yesterday honoring all the volunteers. It is really a privilege to be able to serve amongst those of us that have the same faith and to have fun serving in a variety of capacities, no matter whether you're weed eating out there or setting up the food or being on stage and helping. So we're going to go through some music. The music prescription is an interesting one. I'm going to play a piece of music that may startle you, but the whole idea of a music prescription is that it honors your broad emotional landscape. It allows you to take yourself from that not bending pose to having music that might validate a part of you that is like really pissed off or really not comfortable. So if you see the US up there, the U part stands for unsettledness. And We have those emotions, anger, anxiety, depression, sadness. They're a biological part of us. You're never going to get rid of them. It's how long you stay trapped in them that can create problems. So in music therapy, this protocol honors and validates those emotions. So we are going to listen to a piece of music, not for very long, so grab it while you can. And just notice how you might have a part of you go, yeah, I kind of like that. Or, no, is it going to stop soon? Just notice what your reaction is. And I'm going to ask a little bit of questions after that. And then we're going to move into meditation. And we're going to experience soothing. So it's interesting when you get emotional tension out of the way by validating it with music that might help you to release it. It might assist you in being able to go into a deeper place to meditate. So let's try it. All right, all I got to do is push the button, right, Brian? Okay. All right, here we go.
I can't escape this hell. So many times I've tried, but I'm still caged inside.
So if you liked it, you can listen to all 4 minutes of it. If you didn't like it, that was probably just enough for you. But notice, did anybody resonate with the music at all? Oh, see? So I never count on getting 100% because we're all so different, right? Emotions and music are very subjective. And what you say right now could be different tomorrow. So with that, we are now going to shift into a more soothed state. So I welcome back Gren and Paul.
May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. And may I be happy. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. And may we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. And may we be happy. I am filled with loving kindness. I am well. I am peaceful and at ease. And I am happy.
Let us turn inward now. I invite you to gently close your eyes or soften your gaze. Take a slow breath let it out with ease. Right here in this sacred moment, we remember there is one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God, the good, omnipotent. That presence lives and moves in me as me. I am a unique expression of divine life, guided by infinite wisdom, supported by spiritual laws. Let yourself rest in that awareness. Feel the peace that comes from knowing you are never separate from your source. You are the living temple of spirit. Now bring into your heart something you treasure. It might be a person, a relationship, a quality, or a calling. Something that brings a smile of joy and meaning and light into your life. Simply allow that treasure to arise in your awareness, knowing it is perfect for you right now. See it, feel it, recognize that this good comes through you, but not from you alone. It is the activity of spirit expressing as your life. Silently affirm this for yourself. I give thanks for this treasure. I recognize it as a divine idea made manifest. I am willing to nurture and express this good more fully. Breathe in this gratitude. Feel it radiate outward from the center of your being to every part of your life. Let your heart expand in appreciation for the many ways Spirit shows up in your world. Now ask silently within, how may I serve this treasure with love and wisdom? How may I let Spirit express more fully through me today? And as you return to your breath, know this: you are guided by divine mind in God. You are supported by the power of love. You are a channel through which goodness flows. Take another conscious breath in and release. Gently bring your awareness back to the space, wiggling fingers and toes, and when you're ready, softly opening your eyes. carry this treasure with you. You are blessed, and you are our blessing. Noticing the sequence that we just went through of validating any unsettledness first and then moving into meditation. Was that more effective for you, or was it not? Anybody have comments about this kind of sequencing of music? Yes. Very effective. Yes. Okay, I got a thumbs up. Yes.
It was very calming for the fact that when we had the harder music coming in, and then we slowly went into there, it worked so perfectly, and it worked in a way that it just flows into everyone's soul, and it's just so beautiful the way that you said it, and the way that it just liquefies all of us.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So let's talk about quickly what that's like. Prescriptive music. There's actually a 3-step method. Finding the correct music, which could be different for each and every one of you. And by the way, this method honors all genres, as you probably figured out. And then, what's the right moment? Well, the right moment is always the present moment. Always the present moment. So it's about building your awareness about what am I feeling right now. And then, finally, what's the best sequence to be able to shift myself from maybe feeling this, I can't bend, I can't deal with this, just make it go away, to being flexible and inviting, shifting, changing, moving with the flow. And experiencing what I call emotional fluidity, which is being able to fluidly flow through your emotional landscape without getting trapped in unsettledness. And you can also get trapped in too much peace, where you're not validating what else is going on. It's like, no, I gotta keep myself in this peaceful state. Do not talk to me about anything else. And then there are those that have that grin and bear it, and everything is always happy, and they don't recognize anything else. So you can actually be trapped in a variety of emotions. It's not just anger, anxiety, depression, or sadness. So this particular prescriptive method is available. We have an app for that. Right now it is free and available. To access the emotional profile quiz, where you find out if you're trapped in emotions or not, and then how your music listening habits might reflect that, and then what to do about it. So there's a lot of resources also that you can get through the app. And then the companion book has got, oh my goodness, dozens of case stories about how this works effectively with deep trauma. And then I had the guts to spill personal trauma. Thriving through cancer, harassment, addiction, 4 marriages, raising a blended family, surviving airplane mishaps, living outside the United States, growing several businesses, and most importantly, adopting our newborn granddaughter, who's now 5. So, how can you manage all of this? Imagine being able to have this experience with others, no matter whether there's conflict or not. How can you transform your relationships because you're honoring your talent, your treasures, you're spending time with those 7 F's, and really creating that transformative combustion with others where they want to be with you? So you could even have new conversations around music. You know, I've discovered that when I'm networking with people or being in the car with somebody I don't know, I just automatically start off with, well, what you got for music? I'm looking for some new stuff. It's amazing what comes out of just that question. And then you start finding out what they prefer. And then you start finding out, Judith's protocol tells me that maybe what they're listening to is keeping them trapped in behaviors that could be injurious to themselves or somebody else. And now what do I do about it? So there's a lot of resources for you to figure all the rest of that out. So music has been that constant thread for me in transforming my life through a variety of situations. And I'm so grateful that you joined me today in merging time, talent, and treasure into our lives that thrive. Thank you.
I just love learning about how to be a human better. Or like my friend Donna Mills says, how to human well. So thank you, Judith. I took a ton of notes, and I just find your messages really inspiring, because music, to me, is what we are. The energy and frequency and vibration of it. And so when you tap into the music that makes you feel good or that validates how you feel in that moment, it's just powerful. And it touches our spirits and our souls in just beautiful ways, or other ways too. So thank you, Judith. It is love offering time. If you are able to share of your financial blessings, we do appreciate it. It goes a long way to helping Unity stay open and thrive and grow. If you're watching on the website and you'd like to donate to us, you can click on the synopsis tab and find a list of ways to give. But if you will now, all join me in affirming our divine love statement all together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I receive. And so it is.
I fairly sizzle. I fairly sizzle. With zeal and enthusiasm. And now I spring forth. And now I spring forth. With a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me. Yeah, I fairly sizzle. I fairly sizzle.
Let's hear it.
With zeal and enthusiasm, and now I spring forth. And now I spring forth. With a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me. Yeah.
I fairly sizzle.
I fairly sizzle. With zeal and enthusiasm,
And now I spring forth.
now I spring forth. With a mighty faith
To do the things that ought to be
you'll all join me in blessing these love offerings, let's place our hand on our hearts and breathe in. Feel a sense of gratitude. We have so much in this life to be grateful for. We are here experiencing life in all of its ups and downs. And through that, we come together to support one another. We support unity. And we're so grateful for all the ways that you give to us. It takes all of us. Divine Spirit, sometimes I don't even have words to express how grateful I am. That feeling that pours out of my heart with love, with joy, sometimes with sadness, but always rooted in my faith. Thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you. And so it is. Amen.